Okay, we are back in session, and continuing through our agenda, we've got for new and unfinished business. First item is the Nelson County Sister City Initiative update on sister cities. So Mr. Murphy and Mr. Clark-Kearley, it's good to see you again. Hello.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.
Tell us how it's going.
So Ray's with me today. He had his wisdom teeth taken out yesterday.
That's right.
So he's going to be a little light on the talking, but he's going to poke me if I miss anything. I'm happy to get into it. Over this last month, we've kind of built together a committee. We've been youth-led, which has been exciting, but it's a little easier inside of school. We've done research into locations that we thought would be good ideas. We've pulled ideas from other people, some from the Board of Supervisors, thank you. And we've kind of researched these and voted on them and come to a consensus on our priority for them. I'd like to give a little forward into kind of the program that we're in. Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School, just kind of for anyone in the room, is a 4-year high school program that you start in freshman year. You do a little interview in 8th grade and a test, and there's 18 spots for the school, and they get filled up quick. You work cross-county. We work with Fluvanna, Louisa, Madison, Goochland, Greene, and Orange, and we do projects in world history freshman year, AP biology sophomore year, online learning with PCC and UVA junior year, and senior year, we each have an individual project that we work on for our community. Braden and I's is finding a sister city for Nelson County. So into our first kind of options, this is kind of how we structured our slides. Hopefully you're very familiar with this area. You can see we've included some small statistics on the left, a brief description, our major economic bases, our primary values. These are how we presented it to our committee and decided our position. So our first choice for our county that we'd be pairing with as far as sister cities is Aragosame de Florac, which is in southern France, kind of southern central. Similar population, similar square mileage, similar economic bases. I know we don't have it on here. They're kind of a small wine region. They're big on their natural tourism and outdoor recreation. They're actually the gateway to a national park. They've got a very deep medieval history. They have 2 castles there, which is kind of fun. One from the 13th century and one from the 16th century. This was a big hit because we see it as naturally beautiful, kind of like our area, and they shared a lot of the values of community that we thought we did here. Moving on, I had the Cafayate Department of Northern Argentina. I know Argentina can be a point of adventure, but this was a very promising region. They are very well known for their winemaking, and they do a lot of tourism because of that, and they also perform a lot of traditional agriculture in this area. They're known for, they value their history as a region, how they have grown a part of it. It's a very diverse region as far as economics and kind of a lot of demographics that we looked into. But a lot of their tradition as far as their wine growing has kind of shaped their community in a really beautiful way. Lastly, for counties, we had Baza, Granada, which is in kind of southern Spain. It's a very beautiful city. It's very rich culture. Originally, it was Roman, kind of settled by the Visigoths, and then taken over by the Moors, and then taken over by the Catholics. So it's a very old town, and it's been servicing its kind of region for a long time, which is very similar to what we thought of Nelson County.
Additionally, Baza Granada is also the only region on this presentation that already has a pre-existing sister city. The advantage to that is we'd already be plugging into a system of a pre-existing sister city, and I believe theirs is in Germany, and so that's the one advantage to Baza.
So we'd kind of be working with someone who's already done it before. hopefully be more open because of that. Another idea we had is, what if instead of finding a sister city, we looked as kind of a sister city for a more localized group. In this case, we looked at Livingston. We decided Pine River and Ellisford weren't going to be quite big enough to warrant having an international community. But we kind of viewed it as Livingston services all of Nelson County to a degree. And we were looking for communities that also represented that. Our first choice here was Gabby Hills, which is in the Piedmont of northern Italy. Gabby's very, very big wine name. In fact, that's the name of their wine. Small commune. Trying to think what else off the top of my head.
A lot of their statistics don't exactly match up to, you'll notice that on the left, a lot of their statistics are different from the other places we've been looking at. And one of the main reasons for that is as we looked through what if the sister city was Livingston, we kind of focused on areas that had one centralized town similar to Livingston, and then maybe a couple of unincorporated communities or municipalities around it.
Thank you. Our second option was Ushu, which is another medieval era town that sprung up in southern France. They're very proud of their winemaking, and they do a lot of tourism based on their medieval area. They do some hiking, but it's not to the same levels as we saw before. Still a very beautiful area, and very, I think the word is provincial, but I like it well. And lastly was Requewihr. Requewihr is a very, very beautiful, architecturally medieval town in northeastern France, kind of in the nook between France and Germany. Beautiful area, untouched through World War II, and actually what they say they based Beauty and the Beast on, kind of the cartoon at least. Very scenic in the area, but it's also completely surrounded by a large wine producing region, which is kind of how we saw Livingston doing great.
Try saying that place's name 3 times fast.
Or just once.
So, if there's any input you guys would like on your, I don't want to say preference, but that's exactly what it is, your preference of action, it may take some time. Maybe you have some questions first, or
So, and I guess through this program, you all will interact with an entity that will communicate with these cities for us.
Not exactly. So that is one option of it, and that is applying for membership through Sister Cities International.
Right.
And we'll set up that program, and then we can reach out to places that are already looking for sister
Right.
cities, and that sort of way. That's not the way we've been prepared to go about it, but that's kind of been the semi-plan, if you will.
Sure.
So we intended enrolling in that
Yeah.
at some step. Our primary plan would be kind of direct communication.
Right.
Next slide. we
How's your
have-
French?
Working on it, actually.
Working on good.
Well, I speak Spanish, so that would be one advantage to working with
Perfect.
Spain or Argentina, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Um,
So what is the action required today?
So the action required today is on our next slide. I guess not, but,
If you'll check in each of your inboxes, there should be a proposal which I sent out to you at the beginning of this meeting, which basically is an outline it's essentially a letter of authorization and consent from the Board of
Oh, yeah.
Supervisors as we go to reach out to these international communities.
we just kind of like to be able to showcase to the international communities that, hey, we are speaking on behalf of our county. Here is some proof. When we reach out to these regions, we'd like to know that you guys are behind us, and having this letter would really stand to,
Solidify that.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Also, everything in that document is subject to review and change.
Sure.
So I'm sorry, I don't know that I have a copy of that.
Okay, all right.
We don't have it, okay. I just have one question when you're talking, I mean, I've had contact with Odin through this and with Braden as well. So, so I might be a little bit farther informed than y'all. But when considering the areas that might be sister cities to Livingston, did you consider the fact that Livingston has a governmental and oversight relationship to the rest of the county?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Some of these areas like Ushu and Hikuria are capitals of their, I think the word is communes. So they kind of serve as, I don't want to say the seat, but yes, kind of the chair for the local government of the whole region. I can't speak to Italian government, but French government, their departments are split up, and there's a designated kind of capital of each. I guess the closest thing would be county. Each county has a capital, and the Ushu and Hikuria act as capitals for their.
Those are parishes.
Paris is kind of its own thing.
Okay.
They get to be their own
Got it.
county
Okay.
almost.
Well, I got the letter. I can read it if y'all want. I don't know if we were prepared to make an action today.
You were looking just to take some action today, is that true?
Some action would be nice if you could look through it, decide,
Yeah.
and email your opinion.
Jesse, why don't you go ahead and,
I'm gonna go ahead and
why
read
don't
it.
you go ahead and read it?
All right, so there's a letterhead, and then it says Mayor / City Town of prospective sister city. Proposal, the subject line reads, a proposal to begin sister city exploration between Nelson County, Virginia, USA and prospective sister city country. The Nelson County Board of Supervisors hereby authorizes Braden D. Murphy, Odin A. Clark Cleary, representing Nelson County Sister City Initiative, to initiate outreach communication with the potential sister city candidates on behalf of Nelson County, Virginia, USA. This authorization permits the previously mentioned organization to engage in preliminary discussions with municipal, educational, or cultural representatives abroad regarding the possibility of establishing a sister city relationship. Share information about Nelson County, Livingston's community, culture, and interest. 3, act in pursuance of establishing a sister city relation on behalf of the Nelson County Board of Supervisors. This letter serves as formal approval for exploratory contacts only. Any formal agreements, memoranda, or public commitments will require subsequent review and ratification by the Nelson County Board of Supervisors. We appreciate the time and consideration of any municipality or organization that expressed interest in collaborating with Nelson County, Livingston, towards fostering international understanding, cultural exchange, and mutual development. Sincerely, Ernest Reed, Chair, Nelson County Board of Supervisors, and your information, contact info. That seems pretty straightforward to me, guys. I mean, I have no problem making action on this as that was presented. Staff, I believe I sent y'all, Candy and Mandy, you did get access to that letter.
Okay.
And it's basically as I read it.
Yeah, I found it.
I didn't get it.
I'll send it to you.
So are you asking us for any input on county versus town?
If you have input, we'd love it.
Okay. Listen, personally, I'm a big pro Livingston guy.
Yeah, I know you are. We all know, Jesse. Trust me. Personally, I like the idea of it being the larger area.
Yeah.
It represents our community
Yeah.
better, because it's so diverse here in Nelson County, and you go from one side to the other. So I like that idea. I'm really drawn to, is it Baza? Is that right? Baza Granada? And it's just coincidence. My daughter's on a 2-week vacation in Spain, and she's going to Granada on her trip. So I'll have to ask her to see if they're going to Baza. But yeah, personally, I like the county-wide end of it better, and I'm really drawn. Plus, I never spoke French, so I like Spanish. But yeah, good job.
Yeah, that's
Very nice. And dude, yesterday, impressive. Yeah, can't believe you're up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can go either way on this. I mean,
I think it's more
Yeah,
encompassing.
that's
to the
fine
county.
with me. I mean, if you look at the city, where's that? The one with the castle, I mean, that's basically Livingston. You could go to Slide Gavi Hills.
The other ones, again.
See, we
try to
can talk
pronounce
about
it.
the great castles of Livingston.
It's easy to pronounce Basel.
Gavi.
Maybe you could speak to the language barrier, which was one of the questions you had.
So, kind of a curiosity we had was, well, in doing things with the international community, part of what we're gonna have is a language barrier, unless we're doing things with England or Canada, but we actually intensively scoured those areas, and we couldn't really find an area that represented Nelson like these areas did. So, kind of a concern that we had to address is how would we cross this language barrier? Spanish is a language that's already present in our county to a degree.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't want to say concentrated. And French is heavily lacking as a language in our county. The step for either of these would be making sure it's represented in high school. Spanish, of course, obviously is. Spain Spanish, as I'm told, is very different from Argentinian Spanish. Both have the capability, I believe, to be taught at high school. Currently, it's Spain Spanish. French is no longer taught at the high school, or short of teacher. Italian would be something that we'd have to make a course for, which wouldn't be too absurd, but it would take effort. So my first reaction was foreign languages at the high school. There was another idea of seeing if we could try to figure out how we could get a language tutor program in the county. That seemed like a complicated idea, but if there was interest that asked for it, I think it could be possible. I'm not completely sure what it would look like though. Do you have any thoughts?
Nope.
Dr. Ligon and Jesse and myself were at an anniversary reception for PVCC recently, and there was a woman there who happens to be from Nelson County who teaches French at PVCC.
She lives down the street.
Right. So that's one avenue. There was also a student from UVA who was a resident of Nelson County who has done a lot of international. He had an intensive international live overseas scenario that he was involved with, and that was somewhere in France. I'm not sure. Remember what it was. So that's another possible contact that I haven't shared with you previously. Another comment they had is that in France, most high school students, if not all, learn English. So while there's certainly a language barrier on our end, there wouldn't seem to be one on the other end too much, which is noteworthy if nothing else.
Absolutely, and I mean, that's a consideration we had, but I don't want to say we kind of felt bad reaching out to an area and then asking them to speak our language. But we tried to consider the possibility of how can we as a county also prepare learners. I'm not sure if Cafayette, Argentina, would be as open to switching languages. I'm not sure what their education program looks like. I haven't looked into that yet. But you're right, France would probably be a great one to switch to English. Italy is kind of up in the air.
I agree with Mr. Parr. The county seems a little more amiable than just Livingston. I know you love Livingston, but I love where I'm from, maybe just a smidgen more than Livingston. We have more diverse characters, and those represent the county a little more than finding something local to Livingston. And we have more to talk about if you talk about Nelson County as a whole than poor little old Livingston.
So, getting back to the case in point, I believe we have consensus on the letter. And so you got our blessing with that one. And I'll work with you on getting it signed or whatever we have to do. And then leave it to you to analyze the responses that you get, and let us know. Tell us what the next steps might be after that.
All right, so after we've reached out, we're gonna, hopefully we get a response, right? Our responses could be varied. They could be from the mayor saying, yes, that's something I'd like to pursue, how can we start? And from there, we'd say, look, a sister city relationship is not just about the big title, it's about the things we do as two communities. Setting up programs between us, helping start a sister city kind of club or committee in their area, would kind of build the pillars of Two Bridges and then start building programs across it. Whether it's study abroad programs like we've talked about, pen pals, or things like wine swaps was another idea, or trade visits. You know?
Hey, we can send, me and Parv have already volunteered as tribute if we have to fly out there ourselves and
Have
check
to
on
go
it.
out there and try French wine.
Yeah.
The spots fill up quick, but we'll consider it. I guess the idea is we make contact, see if they're amicable to the program, and then build programs that the sister cities
Right.
would watch out.
Okay,
Awesome,
well,
go forth.
yeah, thanks so much for all the work you've done so far. It's just getting started, I know, but looking forward to continuing to work with you and with us, and keep us, informed. If you have any news by next month, you can come and see us again, and maybe you'll get on the agenda earlier, who knows?
Absolutely. And we'll make sure to, we'll probably have something by then, won't we?
Okay.
That'll be
Sweet.
exciting.
And I'll be able to talk to folks faster.
Great,
Hey, you're doing good standing up, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Thank you.
yeah, well, thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Okay.
Better. See y'all. Thank y'all.
Okay, next, Friends of Gladstone Depot Relocation Restoration Proposal, Joanne Absher. Hello, Joanne.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. So I guess I don't need to introduce myself, I've been here a few times. But anyway, I'm Joanne Absher, President of Friends of Gladstone Depot. I'm gonna go ahead and read this, but I guess at the end of it, if y'all have questions, please feel free to ask them, because I have a couple I'm gonna be asking. So, if you're new to the board, we were organized in 2017. We have negotiated with CSX, Virginia Department of Transportation, Nelson County Board of Supervisors, and many other organizations to save and preserve the Gladstone Depot. Personally, I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for always supporting the depot project. In 2017, Larry Saunders was my representative and found funding along with $15,000 provided by the county to purchase property to move the depot onto. This project started back in the early 1980s when Cliff Wood started the difficult process of placing the Gladstone Depot on the Historical Register of Historic Places. He worked with the Department of Historical Resources by providing this historical documentation to complete the application. The CNO Railroad, now known as CSX, blocked this application process and won't let the building be put on the register, because then they can't tear it down if they want to. So our community will benefit from this project, but the county will also benefit from this project because it's a historical site. The project, I know I had sent y'all a proposal, and it's a turnkey proposal. It's $3.2 million. But the project can be done in phases, because I know there had been some talk that some of the solar farm funding was going to be set aside for the depot. I don't know how much. That was one of my questions. Is there an amount set aside for the depot project? Is the county going to provide some funding for the depot project? Candy has given me some contacts to apply for some grants, but the project's not getting any cheaper. And there's not many grants that are gonna give this organization that kind of money. So I'm gonna ask the county, and the board to vote in favor of providing this funding starting in 2027. Now, whether you want that done in phases, that will be up to y'all. And I can provide a proposal in phases, if that's what, because I had done that with the VDOT grant. Because the building has to be raised, but that's what I need to know. I need to know, is the county gonna provide any funding for this project? Because I've been after this since 2017. And so I guess I kinda need to know where we stand. So that's about all I have. Do you have any questions?
I remember Candy, talking out loud at the moment. I remember they were successful with getting it was the VTAP money, right?
We got it approved in 2023, we're
Right.
approved for the first phase.
Right.
And then when we reapplied,
Yeah.
the rules had changed to the grant, and they would no longer move the building.
Okay.
And then they would do other things, but then they said that we also did not fulfill the first requirements of the grant, which
Right.
I had 4 years to do that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So,
I was just trying to remember where we were, because I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, we ended up canceling the grant and taking the money back, basically,
Right.
because after the Federal Highway Administration did their review, they
Right.
determined most of the project was not eligible.
right, and they said they would not move it.
Got it. That's
So,
okay.
That was a lot of hard work thrown away.
Yeah.
So if I get a no, I'm coming back. You haven't seen me for the last time. I don't give up, so.
So in terms of the solar funding, the upfront money that we can expect from that, the major portion of it, which is the $1 million at final site plan approval and $1 million at building permit issuance, would be expected sometime around January of 2027. So that would be within fiscal year 27, we should get those funds. We've already received the $112,000 that was due at the signing agreement approval. So that we have set those funds aside for the board to decide how you want to spend those funds.
I mean, it would be my suggestion, though, I know you've been doing this for a while, because basically the entirety I've been on this board, you've been interacting on this, and I know we were very excited when you got access to the VTAP money.
Yeah, we were too.
What my suggestion is as we kind of look at this structure, and Dr. Ligon, of course, it's your district. My suggestion was maybe you guys have just a powwow, and maybe have some specific discussion about what that process could look like. And I don't know if any other grants exist.
Candy has given me some contacts, and,
Okay.
and I'm going to apply for those grants.
Because I think,
And,
yeah.
and you gotta realize too, there'll be cost savings in here, because we're gonna have volunteers that'll be doing landscaping and painting and things like that. So it's not, but you need to, I would rather it be higher than not enough. Does that make sense? So, and then whatever we can get for grants also.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'll note is a difficulty, which is it's very difficult for me, to conceptualize what different phases might entail and what would need to be committed for each phase. Now, I know that you're really looking for a response to a much bigger question, which is, is this something that we're committed to doing?
Yes.
And you know, I can't help but think of this at the same time we're thinking of other, you know, capital expenditures. It's certainly on the same level with capital expenditures, and something that we would really have to take a look at, because we have other priorities in the county for significant funding that are, that are right now just beyond our reach, but we have to get moving on some of those too. So it's really difficult at this point without weighing all of the possibilities to have an answer for you today, certainly. And, you know, therefore, I don't know that we're going to have one. I could be wrong, and someone may, you know, may make a proposal we have to look at, but I'm just saying right now in my head, it's not clear that a commitment today would be one that we would even be able to follow through on.
Right.
If you know.
So I emailed all of y'all. If you have suggestions for what I need to do, please tell me. I'm gonna apply for grants. But, you know, it's no need me applying for $100,000 grant if I can't come up with the other money.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
So I need suggestions, I need some ideas, I would like some help. Because I'm not gonna give up on this project. When they put me 6 foot under, then I'll stop.
Another suggestion is that, you know, you are one person speaking for a community. It's gonna take a team of people, from the board, staff, you know, economic development. It's gonna take a team of people to be able to put their heads together to answer the kind of question that you're asking. So, that's just an idea that if you have more heads and more resources going into it,
Okay.
you're gonna probably have a better chance for the outcome you're looking for.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right,
I
Um,
think,
See what else?
I would love to know what the cost would be to move it. I think that's the first priority.
no, the first priority is the foundation has to be built. The building has to be raised. And it has to be raised like 5 to 6, 7 feet, they told me. So that foundation's gotta be built first, and then the building is moved onto that foundation. And I can get that paperwork to you,
Okay.
but that's what has to be done first, and that is the most costly part of it.
Okay. And so this oil tank, see if there's oil tanks and things like that, that all is gonna be happening at,
With
The
the
rock-
that
or it's just-
foundation part,
yeah.
yes.
I remember, maybe it was like 5, 6 years ago, CSX was really putting pressure, like they gave you a timeline of like
Oh, yeah.
a year or two, and it's gotta be gone or else we're gonna tear it down.
Well, that CEO has passed away, and they've got another CEO, and he's
Yeah.
a little bit
Nicer?
nicer,
Okay.
yeah.
I just remember,
Yeah.
I kinda
Oh,
thought
yeah,
that
he was.
after
He
VTAP,
was-
it may have been
He,
gone.
he went up and down the East Coast, tearing down every station that was,
Yeah.
in every building that he could get his hands on.
Well, that makes it even more special, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep,
So I saw Gladstone was gonna be on the list for historical districts, which may be quite helpful in the funding department.
Could
Right.
be, yeah.
The unfortunate part is from experiencing the shipment, it takes a while. That takes a while as well. I would love to see the phases and the cost of the phases.
yeah, I can
I'm
get that from-
suspicious it's gonna actually make it more expensive. That, you know, like the construction company can't come in and do the whole thing. You will have support of the board. I think 3 million is gonna be hard. The board changes too.
Well, in 2017, the estimate was under 300,000. And we couldn't afford it then either. And it hadn't gotten any cheaper, and it's not gonna get cheaper, so.
How much money did we get in the VTAP? Wasn't it a couple million?
2.5 was the
That's
max.
what, yeah, okay, that's pretty close.
Yep. So,
And you did get an extension from CSX to move Depot, right?
I'm sorry.
You did get an extension, a letter extending the time you had to move it?
They're not
They're not pursuing that, or?
they're not pursuing it.
Gotcha.
Not like they were,
Right,
so.
right.
So I guess our phase one would be the exploration, make sure there's no funny stuff,
Right,
foundation and moving, in my opinion.
right.
I'd be interested to see that cost.
Okay.
I
I can get that information. I'm gonna email it to all of you, and then we'll contact some of the other departments and see what we can do.
So here's my thought on it, and I'm gonna disagree with the chairman a little bit. You know, we have had capital improvement projects that we've been focusing on for several years when we made a plan and the financing for that plan, and it did not include the Gladstone Depot. Since then, there's been a major change in finances as a result of something happening in the Gladstone area.
Yep,
I am and have been during that entire negotiation with Dr. Ligon and that project. I have been 100% on board with allocating a substantial portion of that money for that community. To me, this project is yours to lose. I support it 100%.
thank you, appreciate it.
And so I would like to see the logistics as well, but I just want you to know that part of my thought process in that negotiation was supporting this project.
And
So,
I had gotten that, and I was hoping that, that we could get everybody on board with
yeah,
that.
because like I said, I see some of our other capital needs as things that we've already talked about and planned that did not include this project, and now we have other money that wasn't included in those plans.
Right.
So to me, we got a pool, a left pocket and a right pocket,
Okay.
and so you will have my support
All
on
right,
that, so.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I just make one more comment?
Yes.
I just want to go back to that siting agreement funding and just put the disclaimer out there that while they're moving in the direction of construction, there could still be something that comes up that could derail the project.
Yes.
So those funds aren't quite guaranteed yet. So just wanted to make that point.
A lot of diesel fuel in Gladstone.
Yeah.
Coal dust.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have authorization for a public hearing on a battery energy storage siting agreement.
Okay, we have Gabby Mayer here from Light Shift Energy. She's gonna, present her, presentation first, and then I'll be next. And so we'll sort of do it in tandem here.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you,
Thank you.
and good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long couple hours during this session, so I appreciate you guys giving me the stage to kind of talk about this project. I've had the opportunity of coming here before, talking to a lot of you guys already about the battery storage projects that Light Shift Energy has been working with CVEC on. And so today we're here to just talk about the siting agreement portion of it, which you guys seem to be pretty familiar with the process and what the siting agreement is. So this should go hopefully a little quicker. Before jumping into the siting agreement portion, I wanted to create a quick summary and update about these two projects and where we are to date. I know you guys probably haven't been living and breathing these projects the way I have the last couple of months. And so for a quick reminder, update, there are two battery storage projects that we're working on currently with CVEC. One is at the Colleen substation and the other one is at Piney River. Both of these are standalone batteries. They're 4 megawatt projects and the system used is peak shaving. So at a high level, CVEC has contracted with Light Shift Energy to build these projects from a peak shaving perspective. Because CVEC purchases their power from AEP, these transmission charges have drastically increased year over year. So these battery systems are put in place to charge when demand is low and the price of that energy is lower, In discharge, when demand is high, that energy price is much higher, and that allows CVEC to purchase less energy from AEP, which is where a lot of that cost saving comes from, and ultimately that cost savings goes to CVEC members. These batteries, along with cost savings, also increase the resiliency of the grid at the community, as the surrounding community as well. Where this project currently stands is you'll see it's being built on the Colleen substation, and the project layout and footprint is really small, less than 1/10 of an acre. For this project, as well as the Piney River project, we have already received the minor site plan approval from Dylan Bishop at the planning department, and have already completed all other required permits and diligence needed. Next step is really just building permits and construction. For the Piney River project that you see here, the system uses the same, the client is the same. Only difference here is this one's off Piney River substation off of Tybrook Highway. The site layout is a little different, but will really operate the same way as the other. So for the setting agreement, which you guys, I imagine, are aware of, but quick overview of why I'm here and what is that setting agreement. Virginia code requires that the developer, the applicant, enter into an agreement, or at least enter into negotiations for an agreement for that specific siting agreement. This is a voluntary agreement between the applicant and the county, and the main purpose of this agreement is one, to make sure that these projects are in substantial accord with your comprehensive plan, and two, to be able to provide additional funds for the county, which we heard about today. You guys are in need of additional funds, as is all counties, for this type of project. So for our siting agreements, these are kind of the high arching elements of it. There are two siting agreements. One is for Colleen, the other one is for Piney River, but the verbiage of these agreements are exactly the same for kind of ease. They will include a one-time payment to the county. That $8,000 is in addition to the taxes that these projects will provide for the community. In the plan, it's also detailed that Light Shift Energy will be responsible for all necessary training, as well as purchasing any specialized equipment that's needed for the emergency response team. And we will be working with the locality as well as with your emergency response team to create a plan that makes everyone feel comfortable with what's needed in case of emergencies. We'll also be providing a $10,000 charitable donation to a community or agency of choice. This part here is really to highlight that Light Shift views themselves as a partner, not only to CVEC, but also to any community that we work with. And this here is just to solidify that when we come into the county, it's to be able to provide the benefits to the county. And so that $10,000 can be an agency of your choosing, or we can collaborate and find one that works as well.
Are those, the 8 and the 10,000 payments, are they per location?
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. So those times. And so with that, I've been negotiating with you guys since probably April, trying to get to these terms, but really here today, just requesting that approval for authorization for a public hearing on November 13th to ultimately be able to sign this setting agreement. But with that, I will open it up to questions or concerns, and I know Candy had something.
Do you have questions for Gabby first, or do you want to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. Thank you, Gabby. Just a little bit of a reminder, Gabby touched on it, that the battery energy storage site plans were approved administratively as by right accessory uses to a public utility, and that's pursuant to Article 4 of the Code of Nelson County. The code does allow you to enter into siting agreements, and the purpose of this is so the applicant can make the voluntary payments as we discussed. It's a meaningful way for them to be a community partner and mitigate any potential impacts of the project pursuant to the aforementioned state code sections. Once the parties agree to the terms of the agreement, then the host locality is required to schedule a public hearing for the purpose of considering the siting agreements. Did provide a memo in your packet that just kind of outlines some of the iterations we went through with Light Shift, making sure there was inclusion of decommissioning language in Article 1. Also, inclusion of language in Article 3 related to emergency response training, and that they're working with the local fire department on the creation and implementation of an emergency response plan. That plan would outline what Light Shift is responsible for, such as if there's a deficiency in their response results, and the local fire department needing to provide additional support beyond what would normally be required, they would commit to reimbursing the fire department for the man hours associated with that extra effort. And as Gabby mentioned, Light Shift is responsible for paying all of the costs of the specialized training for them. She touched on the capital payments already. They are working with the Commissioner of Revenue on local taxes, and based on applying the machinery and tools tax rate, they're estimating the annual tax will average about $8,000 to $9,000 a year. We do have a proposed resolution, R 2025-75, which would authorize a public hearing for the November 13th board meeting. Just want to note this is a much smaller project in scope compared to the Broadrose Utility Solar project. As mentioned, the use is by right, so there's no special use permit approval that's required. It will benefit our local CVC customers by keeping rates down during peak usage periods. So with that, happy to answer any questions, and you have the resolution before you.
So the public hearing is necessary in order to consider approval of the siting agreements?
Yes, that's correct. So you're just authorizing the public hearing today.
now.
Yeah. But in doing so, you're substantially in agreement with the terms.
So, when they're saying they're buying equipment and training, is this yearly, one-time deal, lifetime of the project?
Yeah, great question. We start before the project is fully constructed to make sure everyone knows what the plan is and how to operate it. The training comes pretty much as often as the fire department needs it. So they request it. We have a team in Virginia. We work with ESRG, which is a third party as well, who is kind of in charge of battery projects throughout the United States. And they come out and do these trainings. And if it's not them, it's us or another agency, and pretty much ad hoc when needed. But yes, for the duration of the project.
What other localities in Virginia are you in?
Yeah, we're working, we currently have a project operational in Danville. That was our first one. We're building a second one right now. We have these two projects here in Nelson, and one in Salem, and another one in, losing me right now, but Meadow Creek in Craig County.
And we've called these localities to make sure they've been true to their word with training and everything, or
No.
we're just going on winging a prayer? Okay.
Happy to provide you Jason Gray from Danville. That's the one that's currently operational and has gone through the training already. Yeah,
We can certainly do that between now and November, for sure.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay, and thank you. Thank you, Candy. Do we have a motion?
I move that we adopt Resolution R 2025-75, Nelson County Board of Supervisors, authorization for public hearing on battery energy storage siting agreements.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call.
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
Dr. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Parr,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes. Okay. So, just to note, the date of the public hearing is November 13th, which is the date that we have changed our regularly scheduled, Board of Supervisors.
Yeah,
Right.
Thursday the 13th.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next, we have Department of Historic Resources. Let's see, Historic District Survey and Planning Grant for Gladstone?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, the Department of Historic Resources has a district survey and planning grant opportunity. They have $330,000 in emergency supplemental historic preservation funds associated with the 2018 hurricanes Florence and Michael. That is available for survey and planning projects. Funding eligibility is limited to localities, tribal governments, or nonprofits in the 52 counties and cities in Virginia identified in the FEMA Major Declaration number 4401 pertaining to Hurricane Florence and 4411 pertaining to Hurricane Michael. Nelson County is eligible for this funding under FEMA-4401 pertaining to Hurricane Florence. This declaration was as of November 14, 2018, and again related to Hurricane Florence. This just shows all the eligible counties under that declaration, of which Nelson is one. Okay. Eligible activities and project priorities include eligible projects that encompass survey and planning activities and the protection of historic resources through identification, documentation, evaluation, National Register of Historic Places nominations or nomination updates, and preservation planning activities consistent with responsible stewardship of historic resources. DHR assumes project management responsibility and also responsibility for procurement and contract administration, and will ensure that the project documentation is completed to state and federal requirements. DHR will be responsible for procuring the services of qualified professionals who meet the standards of professional qualifications as specified by the U.S. Secretary of the Interior. As far as an applicant contribution, the selected projects will be fully funded by the ESHPF grant program. And this is different from other survey and planning grants we have gotten in the past where we've had to come up with a local match. So they will fully fund the whole survey project. The applicant, though, the county would assume responsibility for notifying local residents and property owners about the project and arranging any necessary community meetings for the project. Project timelines are as follows. The applications are due by 5 p.m. Eastern on November 7th, 2025, and projects must be completed by March 2027. We currently have 7 established historic districts as shown on this map. We have the Greenwood-Atherton Rural Historic District, South Rock-Fish Valley Rural Historic District, Livingston Historic District, our new Shipman Historic District, which is in the process of getting loaded into our GIS system to be put on this layer, the Schuyler Historic District, Warminster Rural Historic District, and the Norwood-Wingina Rural Historic District. So requested board action today would be to authorize the staff to submit an application for funding under this program for survey and planning activities related to establishing Gladstone Rural Historic District. And the draft motion is provided.
So moved.
There you go. I'll second that. David, why ain't you got any historic districts?
You know,
Wait,
Massey's Mill.
that could be another, yes.
Massey's Mill, I'm surprised really, because that was a huge, okay, I'm just letting you know. Massey's
In
Mill.
case she wants me to try.
I mean, you're welcome to propose any other area you would like.
Mr. Chairman, call the question.
Well, if there's no further discussion, and I guess there's not, we will take a roll call.
Mr. Rutherford.
Yes.
Dr. Liggins.
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the Warminster one, I think it took us twice, 2 times, 3 times. Didn't we apply a couple times?
I'm not sure.
Ah, okay. Felt like twice. I see that.
Okay. Time for our county administrator's report.
It was a late meeting.
Here we go.
You know what time is getting ready?
5.
This will be fairly quick. All right, quick update on our DSS building project. Coleman Adams has begun hazardous material abatement. I think they were gonna start last week. Need to follow up and see if they actually did start that.
There's construction going on.
Okay.
There's stuff outside the building, so I would say it's happened.
All right. Demolition of the existing building is to occur mid-October to November with site work to follow. Job site protections, including fencing, will be erected by Coleman Adams to protect the site from foot traffic in the area during construction. And just as a reminder, this is an $8.3 million project, including all-in costs. It will house approximately, in the beginning, about 24 employees, and the planned build-out is for 30 positions in 10 years. So, all right, our Department of Social Services CPS data and agency corrective action plan report shows the following data for September, which is comparable to that of August. They had total CPS referrals received of 18. 13 of these were validated, 5 were screened out, giving a percentage validated of 72% and a percentage screened out of 28%. Other referrals validated, 4 resulted in investigations, 8 resulted in family assessments, and that is a 31% resulted in investigations and 62% resulted in family assessments. The agency is continuing to work with VDSS and working through its corrective action plan. The last review on September 25th showed the agency making great progress in all programs per the VDSS practice consultants. Our next review is scheduled for October 23rd. In terms of CPS, significant progress was shown in closing the older CPS referrals with 30 open as of September 22nd and only 6 indicated as overdue. Staff is working through systems, data entry challenges in their Compass and Oasis systems, which correlates case data measurement in the Safe Measure system, so that the case data entered can be accurately reflecting the casework that is occurring. More training will be provided by VDSS on that. Staff will be working to improve entry of safety assessment entry timelines in coordination with the Sheriff's Department, Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and MDT on cases is now occurring as it should be. In terms of foster care and permanency service areas, as of 9/22, we had 18 youth in foster care. Staff is working to increase system documentation of monthly worker visits in the child's current residence, and as of September 22nd, 50% of the 18 had been documented in the system. The 5 youth in care that have a goal of reunification had 100% documentation, and 92.9% of those cases were current on their physical exams, and only 35.7% current on dental exams. So they'll be working to increase that percentage. In-home services, they had face-to-face contacts with in-home service cases and family support cases. And in-home service plan status data entry issues have caused data to be unreflective of visits and plans that have been done. Allison will check on these, and data entry corrections will be made so that that data can be pulled in accurately as well. Staff will be working on increasing family partnership meetings for all programs. We are currently recruiting for a director. That is ongoing. BDSS staff are conducting the second level of applicant screenings now, which actually were completed the end of last week. And local recruitment for family service supervisor, foster care worker, and administrative coordinator 2 is in process. We have a new BDSS Piedmont regional director now. His name is Todd Beers. He is replacing Tracy Brewster, who has taken a new role in BDSS. Something to note also is as of today, our DSS serves 4,928 clients across their 7 programs. To put that in perspective, that's about 33.4% of our total population. In addition to those clients, we have 25 families or cases that are associated with CPS and in-home services. We have advertised the local DSS advisory board. Applications are being taken. We have some that we've received to date that have been presented to you in the board packet under appointments. Not necessarily asking the board to make those appointments today, but wanted to share with you the applicants that we have received, or applications we have received. Moving on to our space needs follow-up, there's really no change there. I've gotten a little bit of information on the 400 Front Street option, and I need to have a follow-up conversation with Nelson Center folks to see where we stand with the requested information there. So I'll be reporting that back to you shortly. On the Christmas lights, Amanda and Jeff Brantley met with Galen Creekmore and Jay Palmer from CVEC on September 30th to discuss Christmas lights in Nelliesford. CVEC is in the process of evaluating the 13 light poles to determine what is needed to upgrade the receptacles. The needed replacements would be completed by CEVC. We are unsure if there's any cost associated with the work at this time. Mr. Palmer has assured us that if there's any expense involved, they will work to keep the cost down as much as possible. Ms. Spivey has also been in contact with Heather Marks of AEP regarding the lights in Livingston and Shipman. Ms. Marks is looking into a project for receptacle replacement, but she will need all of the pole numbers related to the light locations. Maintenance staff is currently working to get a full list of pole numbers for those light poles. Once we have those submitted to AEP, they'll be able to put together more information on the replacement. In the meantime, a work order has been issued to evaluate all of the Christmas lights for Livingston, Shipman, and Nelliesford, with plans to go ahead and replace any broken bulbs so the fixtures are ready to be placed when the pole work is complete. We're making every effort to have these lights in place for the holiday season. At this time, we feel like adding additional locations is not feasible for this particular holiday season. Should any business or homeowner wish to purchase a light for installation on a street pole, we recommend they work directly through their electricity provider to discuss that placement on a utility pole and any needed service. So right now, given the amount of time it's taking to just kind of get our bearings where we're at, we feel like the county should take on this responsibility for this holiday season and then kind of look at, future years and looking at other alternatives and maybe growing the light program out to other areas. A short report on our Community Development Foundation Family Assistance Program and the Roseland duplexes. As far as Family Assistance Program, Ms. Claire reported that as of September 26th, year to date, they've had 37 requests for $17,350 in assistance, and have made 15 assistance payments of $6,717. The average payment being $444.83, and the application limit's $500. As of September 26th, at the Roseland duplex, the wells have been dug, footers inspected, and block code foundations have been delivered. They're expecting the buildings to arrive at the end of October, and fundraising to complete the funding needed for the project is ongoing. A brief status on the Wild Rose Solar Project. Wild Rose Solar is scheduled to provide a more in-depth project update at the board's December 9th regular meeting. However, they gave us the following information. Their Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity, or CPCN, is in progress. It was filed back in July. The notice will be published in the local newspaper before October 31st, and a public comment period will be open until December 5th. This permit is limited to their road crossings. They were approved by DEQ for their permit by rule. They've received Phase 3 interconnection results with an interconnection agreement to be signed by the end of November. The current project schedule has not changed as anticipated. Start of construction looks to be June 2027 with commercial operation September 2028. Ms. Hull provided us with a matrix of the county invested funds. We currently have $23,258,237.10 invested. This balance does vary depending on cyclical cash flows at the time. Our cash flow will increase with the December property tax billing, increasing county funds invested. We currently have about $4.9 million invested in the max sweep combined general operating and money market accounts at a rate of 2.96%. We have about $49,000 in the Virginia Local Government Investment Pool at 4.44%. We have $7.1 million invested in the VIP Stable NAV Liquidity Pool at 4.41%. And we have multi-bank securities, which are fixed income accounts and mostly CDs that have different rates, ranging from 3.5% to 4.9%. We have about $3.2 million invested there. And then another $7.9 million at 4.48% with Virginia Municipal Investment Trust. Getting to the end here, our FY 26-27 budget prep. It's budget time again, and finance staff is issuing our 26-27 budget forms to both external agencies and county departments for return by mid-November. This work includes updating the 5-year CIP for consideration by the board. We would like to schedule a work session with the board for sometime in early December that could encompass review of our updated debt capacity with Davenport, consideration of the proposed CIP, and pre-budget discussions, including a draft calendar for your review. Ideally, a work session on the Larkin water studies would occur prior to discussion of the overall CIP if you wanted to have additional conversation with CHA on those studies. We provided the meals and lodging tax collection and lodging entity tracking. Our number of lodging units went from 824 to 820. Our economic development, tourism, and IT and planning and zoning staff are vetting short-term rental software platforms for purchase, with economic development staff to be the primary users for tracking purposes. I think we're getting pretty close to a product selection and should be likely made in the next week. We've received also department and office reports for August and September. Okay, happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Jesse?
I'll be interested to see what, not next month's, but yeah, next month's report about this month's revenue with the specific event that just happened.
Right, I think we should know something maybe around the 20th of the
That's
month,
what-
and so I can send that out to you once we have that information.
Great. Will the treasurer be, or the commissioner of revenue actually be joining us at the November meeting for a report on that possibly?
Yeah, we can certainly do
I
that.
think that would be appropriate.
Yeah, I'll check with her.
I'm good.
Yeah, nothing.
Any
Yeah,
questions?
I got something.
Okay.
So it's, I know we got a slight update last month on the Cover the Caboose project in Piney River. It's disappointing to see the Parks and Rec report not make any mention of that project on his summary. I'm just wondering if you know anything about where we are with that. I know we had quite a range of
Right.
of bids, but we haven't seen any specifics. At least I haven't. And so,
I don't have any more information on that at this time. so
can
I
we turn the
apologize.
heat up on our Parks and Rec department on getting us some information on that and letting
I
us know
can.
where we are?
Certainly.
Yeah.
It's you know, somewhat my fault as well, because it's.
I've
not
reached
been on
out
the
directly
front.
as well, and so,
Sure, I will
thank
check
you.
with Jerry on that.
I would like a report in November on that.
Sure.
Sooner the better, if I could,
Actually pretty pleased.
because I have another group that I report to
So
on this
many
event
applicants.
that I would like to provide them with a report.
Certainly, yeah.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Liam, do you have any
Go
questions?
ahead.
Okay. I don't recall, does the Department of Social Services run in the same fiscal year that we do?
Their fiscal year, I believe, ends in May.
Okay,
So they're a little slightly different.
okay.
Yeah.
But it's almost the same. It's close. Okay. The only other thing I have, it references the space needs analysis, but I'll
Mhm.
hold that till directives.
Okay.
I think that's probably
Um,
next.
Did you all want to discuss the potential for an early December budget work session, mostly on CIP and capital projects?
I did, but I also, we had talked about the possibility of a pre-budget meeting with the school board as well. And I guess that was where I was going.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted to, maybe this is part of the same discussion, I kind of wanted to poll the board as to if they felt it would be useful to do that with, before the standing school board leaves, or with the entering school board that probably doesn't have a lot of budget experience yet with
We
with
could
that.
learn along with them. I'm kidding, kind of.
Okay, I take that as
The
an
new
after the
board.
first of the year. You'd rather meet with the new board than the old board.
I
Anybody
suppose
else
that's
have?
a
It's not fair
consideration
for the
you all
old
as
board to
well.
make promises for the new board.
Well, it's a question of where we are, not where we're going at that point. We can talk about where we're going with the new board, but a pre-budget discussion of what we might expect is something that, Shannon and Dr. Hester will have already pretty much considered, and then we would have some additional ideas going into the CIP discussion, which might be useful. I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out and see what y'all thought.
I would think Shannon and Amanda could provide staff with information, and then we have a joint meeting with the new board is what I would think. They probably have a pretty good idea of Shannon and Amanda.
Okay. And we could discuss space needs at the same time. Perhaps.
It depends on,
Have we landed on any decision with that before we involve the school board?
Well, that's what, we'll have more information by then. Those are the two things that a joint meeting might address, the space needs and budget. And
I feel the board of supervisors needs to meet and discuss the space needs again, finalize some thoughts before school board. We waste their time. Still gonna beat that drum.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, the fact that we're not constructing a new facility. I definitely could see, like, we worked hand in hand with social services and we're coming up with a plan, and let's design this around, right now, we're trying to fit into existing spaces. So I think, I agree with Dr. Legan that right now, we need to narrow our focus a little more on what what inventory we're looking to
Okay.
utilize personally.
Well,
And then once we know, okay, this is the facility we're looking at now, and then to me, then it becomes an administrative issue of how they can best utilize that square footage. But I see this as a different project than, for example, our current project with social services, in that was starting from scratch. It was like, all right, let's build around this joint need.
okay.
But that's just me.
So maybe January or something, when
Yeah.
everybody's back in place. Okay.
so, would that also be for the county's budget prep work session with CIP or anything like that? I mean, it might be prudent to wait till January for all of it with.
When are we
we're
gonna get the
getting at least one
reassessment
new
info
board
back?
member. I'm sorry?
When do we get the reassessment info back? Is that December normally?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Mhm. We have to have it by the end of December.
Okay.
So we have that will be a consideration, as well as the new biennium and having a new local composite index for the schools.
makes
That'll be a
sense.
budget impact.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Okay, so we'll look at not doing any budget meetings till after January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do we want space needs before that,
I,
potentially, or wait with that as well?
If you just keep us updated on information that you receive,
I would say like.
I think it's fair to have it in our mind for December, as long as we've collected some information.
mhm.
Okay, so
Possible December space. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, no more questions? That's good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Candy. Reports. Who'd like to start?
I guess I could start. We had a delayed but very productive planning commission meeting, where we pretty much made it through all of those charts that have been given to us. And we also had a very productive conversation about short-term rentals. So there will be Dylan's taking all of that chatter, going over, she is doing a little investigating with short-term rentals, because we had a few questions on what is actually zoning and what is actually gonna be the will of the board in regulation. And that will be presented to our joint planning commission board of supervisors meeting, but I think it was really productive, and I'm pleased with the direction it went, and I think you all will be as well. That's all I've got.
Mr. Parker?
So, from an emergency services standpoint, a lot of focus recently on preparing for the event at Infinity Downs and Oak Ridge this past weekend, and I think the preparation paid off. I don't have specific numbers in front of me, but I was speaking to some law enforcement recently and EMS staff, and it seems like the numbers were very low, which is a good thing. Not a lot of transports. I think there were some broken ankles and a few other incidents, but nothing major. It was very calm, knock on wood, it was a very calm event. And I think it's important for the public to understand that, because there were some questions about the expense of an event like that on traffic control and EMS and law enforcement. And I think it's important for the public to understand that those expenses are borne by the promoter of the event. And then there was another question that came up. They were seeing local deputies and even Buckingham deputies and others. And the question came up, why aren't the state police there? And the reason for that is because the promoter offers a flat rate to pay for those deputies, and they would not pay the rate that the state police required. So the state police were on patrol as they normally are. They just weren't on site at the event. But it went well, and as far as any issues from an emergency services standpoint, so preparation was paid off.
Yes.
We had a jail board meeting, I think it was last week. And we had some discussions and discussions about renovation. We're gonna have a groundbreaking ceremony, I believe, on December 11th. We also modified our bylaws, which took a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna be. And in that, I don't think I have much more to report on the jail side. We had a PDC meeting. I had to attend virtually. I don't remember what we did. It's been a long 2 weeks for me. And
I'll fill that in.
Yeah, you fill in the PDC one. Beyond that, I did have the chance to attend the festival. I did go every day, and I got to talk to every single government agency that was out there. And I have to admit, it sounded, some of my interactions with the police officers who are from out of town said this is a very remarkably well organized event. Very limited interactions in terms of offenders. There were some, I don't know what the final numbers were, but at one point, one of the officers had indicated there's only a couple, but they were very minor, quick interactions. I think as it relates to the overall event, I feel like from an interior perspective, it was extremely well organized. Access to EMS, police being visible, they're all there up front and center, which was really great to hear. And, you know, there was a little bit of a issue with traffic, I believe, on Thursday, but it sounded like the following day, police had remedied a little bit of that interaction that had happened on Thursday. So other than that, that was just kind of my take on that event. I know there's some noise discussions, and I'm sure maybe we'll go into that at some point, but that's all I got for now.
Okay, well, then I'll go into it, because that was, although I was not here over the weekend, my email and my text messages and my voicemail lit up regarding Friday night. And so when I was responding and talking to the folks that were complaining, there were people that were, as far as 12 or 15 miles away from the event that, that could not get away from the pulsing that was part of it, which isn't really covered with a sound ordinance or a noise ordinance. But the word, the word that kept, words that kept coming up with this was something that we needed to take a closer look at in terms of how to deal with things that are, to not let something like this become a nuisance that the county has to bear. They felt that it wasn't something that they wanted to see happen again for the most part. Again, there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, but those were the only ones that I was subject to over the weekend. Concerning TJPDC, there were two really interesting reports. One had to do with the ride shares and the 4 ride share lots that are used for commuters in Nelson County, and which ones are used in the one at Roseland is mostly interior in the county, and the one on Route 6 Route 6 west, which I guess would be Route 6 at north. I think of it as north,
Yeah.
instead of west. That those were mostly people that lived in the county that were going out of the county, and the one and that gets a lot of use. There, thousands of uses over the course of a month, and also the Route 6 one. So anyway, that was very interesting. The other thing that they reported on was the Blue Ridge Cigarette Tax Board, and of course we're not a part of that. We voted not to join into that. They've had additional members join it. They've had a large increase in revenues across the table. And in looking at what surrounding jurisdictions are charging in terms of their cigarette tax and what they and how much they're getting for it. Looking at Nelson, I'm certainly not lobbying for this, but I just wanted to present the information. The estimate that that Nelson might have, might be somewhere in the range of $100,000 to $300,000 a year. That, of course, again, we don't have the outlets that are in other areas, but that was just something that was just worth noting, so I thought I would let you know. Dr. Ligon did the proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Week. I was at the event here at the courthouse. It was well attended, and there were some great speakers that were survivors. That was very interesting. I'm glad we could support that. Because it's election season, there were 2 forums that happened last month. There was the Home Builders and League of Women Voters, both well attended. I held 3 town halls. One at Faber Fire Station, one at Rockfish Valley Community Center, and another one that was more localized at the New Land community off of 8 Isle Road. And those were all well attended from, there were people from all different districts, as a matter of fact, so they weren't solely campaign events. And that's my report. So that takes us to appointments.
Yes. So quickly, I have Board of Zoning Appeals, Shelby Brugier's term expires next month. She would like to serve again, so that is something that I would like y'all to consider this evening. And then Candy did mention that we have applications for Social Services Advisory Board. Those applications are included in your packet. I'm assuming y'all will want to wait, look those over and see if we get any more applicants. Board of Equalization is also on our radar. We've gotten some applications for that, but I think we'd like to have a few more as well. So I would probably wait. I'll leave that up to you. And then the existing vacancies are included on the rest of the spreadsheet that we've discussed previously. Other than that, that's it.
Okay, so it looks to me that we should definitely consider the Board of Zoning Appeals reappointment application from Shelby Bruguier. Board, what do you think?
That's fine.
Okay,
I move we approve Shelby Bruguier to the BZA.
I'll second.
okay. If there's any discussion, let's do a roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes. So I'm happy to wait on the other ones
Yep.
for us to get some more applications. We think that's good.
I do have a
Good advice.
question. Is there traditionally an out-of-county member?
So I think this is something we could consider it.
Okay.
We do have to have five districts represented, but I think beyond those, you can probably choose others as you see fit.
There was also, one of the ladies had a time restriction. So what was the set time for?
There is no set time.
Okay.
They can determine that once
Okay.
they are formed.
Right.
So I don't think that could be an issue necessarily.
I'm excited to meet this Laura Wirt.
She's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, did you read her application?
Mhm.
It's like, she's got some history in there. Yeah, I'm fine with waiting on the rest.
I'm impressed with the interest, so
Hey,
Yeah, I'm
I know,
very,
I know Sue Woodson as well. Sue's
yeah, I actually know most of them and they're good.
yeah, it looks like we'll have a good group to choose from, so that's good. Okay, correspondence?
When do you want me to bring up Livingston Merchant? Next round?
Yeah. Yes. Correspondence usually doesn't take long. Go ahead.
Okay. As you all know, the Livingston Merchant Association has been here. Dr. Ligon and I have had the great privilege of attending those. SBDC has been assisting with some of the details with how to get the organization going. There's been a lot of excitement. They've been very active in our community, as you saw the banner signs that are out, which was just a great addition. Happy to see that happen. There's just a lot of great energy. As they're beginning their process and getting started, they're looking to try to get that, some type of seed money just to get themselves off the ground. They had asked for $5,000. Of course, I understand their interest and probably ours as well. They include this in our regular budget review per normal, just to get them in the cycle. However, I do think to keep their energy going, we could be a good boost of confidence for them that they're headed in the right direction.
I did not attend the last meeting,
I didn't.
but is it their, it was my hope that it was their intention to continue using, I cannot remember her name, to facilitate the
Kate.
meetings.
Kate Zuckerman.
Because really, she's the true backbone of the situation.
Yeah.
But she does cost money.
Did-
Um,
Did she come the last meeting? Okay.
But
Okay.
Do
Why don't
you
you come
mind
up-
giving the
come up here?
forecast on, do you feel that they intend to keep using her, or?
I think that's gonna be kind of a journey, because she's been excluded from the last couple of email rounds. I have a meeting with them, I don't know, next week maybe, discussing Virginia Main Street status. We're at the beginning of the journey, and I think Kate is an important part of the foundation for them to build. And, so I'm working with the Small Business Development Center on next year's funding, and my course of action in my mind is, again, continue to focus on Livingston with them, as opposed to, every business, any business would be invited to these, workshops and things like that, but they would be Livingston-centric as they have been.
Right.
It's the meeting facilitation that, and Kate, Kate's a Nelson resident.
Yeah.
So she's donating some of her time too, so we're
Awesome.
working it out, but it's a lot.
Sure. So, how does this board feel about 5,000 to keep them going, get them excited, show our interest in supporting the economics of Livingston, and then in a cycle coming up, trying to just get them in the regular budget session? Everybody amicable to that?
Pretty sure that's exactly what I said last time they came and talked to us.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, we had that discussion earlier today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I can make a motion since we're in directives,
Yes,
I move that we give the Livingston Merchants Association $5,000 to their organization as, we'll just call it like seed money of some sort, and consider this being included in future budgets. It's a motion.
Oh, I'll second.
okay. I don't understand the second. You
Oh,
said
the second's
included?
really not really, it's more of a.
Sorry,
Huh?
I agree then.
No, I'm
Trying
for
to get
discussion.
it looped into the future
So for them to
budgets.
do a submission
In the
during the
future.
budget cycle?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't clear on what you said.
Yeah, 5,000.
Okay.
No, giving them $5,000, not having them, giving them permission to ask us for the money.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay. It's $5,000.
Doing both.
Yeah, that's it. All right, we have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Mr. Parr,
Yes.
Dr. Ligon.
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes,
Y'all?
Okay.
Directive's done for me.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. We need to go into closed session.
Oh,
We need to.
Are they
So,
delivering
dinner?
Are you getting pizza delivers?
Marathon.
We got another hour.
Yeah. Need someone to make a motion to go into closed session? Do we have the,
I move that the Nelson County Board of Supervisors convene in closed session to discuss the following as permitted by Virginia Code Sections 2.2-3711. A5, discussions concerning prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community.
Second.
okay, motion and a second?
Mr. Rutherford.
Yes.
Dr. Ligon.
Yes.
Mr. Parr.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes. Okay, we are moving into closed session.